completely negates Dardas and Spudio having the opportunity to invade, because then you've got to worry about the Guan Yu running at you too.
Right, and that's also trusting and playing to your strengths. Emilzy's mad good, right? That's my really deep analysis. Emilzy's mad good. But what I'm getting at is that NRG can trust their star support player to be lonely in the lane by himself and not die, right? And still able to help out his carry player. Spudio right here. Looking for the clear. Thought he was going to get aggressive. Sorry. I got a little excited. Pull off the mark from Dardas. Emilito's beads still on cooldown for about another minute, give or take.
Right down the middle of the two of them. Dardas getting a nice root. I think he's winning this auto attack trade up until Emilzy decides to give his Hunter a helping hand, but those Wisps are going to keep Dardas nice and healthy.
I almost expected Dardas to have Hunter's Blessing.
Oh, no, there'd be way more damage happening if that were the case. But Dardas would also be crippling himself for much later on. Or I shouldn't even say much later on, but like even the early game would be impacted so severely against Dardas going for that Hunter's Blessing.
I mean, he crippled himself by going Sylvanas. No movement abilities. Can't dash.
Is that crippled, though, or is it just, like, slow?
I guess he is slow. But technically a cripple, because he can't jump, right? He jumped as soon as we went into it. I'll be here all week, folks.
That's the caster's curse.
It really is. You've been crushing it with the caster's curse lately.
Oh, I know. Teams should really start paying me. I'm about to start demanding that.
Nice jump from Emilzy. I believe that, actually. I wholeheartedly believe you on that one, Taco. Right side, Adapting looking to get a little frisky. Nika, level 5. Adapting does not have the ultimate just yet. Only level 2 boots. So a low amount of power. Nika still playing relatively safe. The ping is out. And it's a be careful ping. So that's Mouse letting the solo laner know that Hapwa is right there, ready to go.
Probably because they haven't seen Adapting in a hot minute. At competitive levels of play, you just expect to see if there's no jungler on the map, he's probably in one of your side lanes or waiting to strike in one of your side lanes. And I don't think that Adapting is going to really spend too much time venturing over into duo. It's clear that Dardas and Spudio have a lot of pressure. They also have a lot of the turn and burn factors going on. So really doubtful that Adapting heads there.
With their pressure, doesn't that make the jungler more likely to go there?
Usually, yes, but it's Emilito on the Jingwei. If it's not the Jingwei, I have way more faith in it. But relying on Emilzy for doing the majority of the damage there, it can be hard to play off of that between the two. And there's a stronger likelihood Cherio is able to counter-rotate while the aggression is still happening, and for Dardas and Spudio to hold Adapting, Emilzy, and Emil hostage in that dual lane long enough for a first blood opportunity to arise.
NRG is certainly keeping all things in mind. Still down about the amount of a first blood despite no action just yet. Very curious. 400 gold coming out just from the farm. Cherio drops the ultimate on Maniac to save the blue buff. Good job there, protecting his solo laner. I love this change from our two junglers where it's just like, all right, Adapting's like, all right, I'm going to show you how it's done, Cherio. And Cherio goes, me too.
That's surprising, though, seeing big man Tings give up the red buff to Spudio, who's only level 5 in comparison to Tings' level 8.
On the ROM, too. Not an early game character.
He can deal a decent amount of damage against Emil, but you don't really need to match the damage output of a Jingwei. You just are focusing mostly on lane clear. If anything, it's Tings who's got to be concerned about Adapting, just trying to blink into the center of the lane or just running straight in with the water spout and the crushing wave. Doesn't have the blink right now.
Yeah, not able to really confirm much of anything. So that's going to be kind of tough going forward. Keep an eye on that till level 12 at the very least, but right now we're half of that in minutes, 6.5. Spudio versus Emil. Another, you mentioned how the Jingwei was relatively passive last time. Rom, not going to be hyper aggressive, but if Emil steps up here, this could be problematic. Adapting in the enemy jungle could also be problematic. Cherio jumping away from the mage jungle. Adapting looking pretty good there. Level 7 so far on the Hapwa.
Adapting just poses such a large threat, though, wherever he goes right now. Cherio can't realistically match his damage output unless he gets a very lucky crit. And Adapting would probably want Cheerio to try and commit on top of him anyway, because that just makes it all that easier to hit the water spout.
Right. Adapting right now has those boots finished, and this is really where you can start to make your impact. The early penetration allows Hebo to kind of do whatever he wants, and then once you have the Bancroft, if you have a kill on top of that, you're nigh unstoppable. So Adapting right now should be looking to amplify his gold somehow, whether it's a kill, an assist, or even setting up for an objective. But right now, Hebo can swing, and I'd like to see him play aggressive.
I'm definitely expecting both teams to opt for some early game anti-heal. I think that Pestilences, Divine Ruins, Brawlers, both very effective against either of these drafts. And some of these earlier team fights, whenever they do start happening, could potentially be influenced very largely by whoever has the anti-heal first. Last
game we saw Jungle Hebo played by Cheerio, and he built third item, Divine Ruin. Yaman knocked up and set up for Big Man Tings, but Yaman able to sneak on through the portal. Nice ultimate by Dardes, though. I liked that.
It was the trust factor, though, from Tings to Dardes. Dardes does everything right. It's just Yaman uses his purification beads and portals away. Not a whole lot to really be done about it. It's just the way it is sometimes.
Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. It's just the way it is. Big Man Tings getting chunked there. Or chunking. What's that first one called?
Which one?
Not Searing Pain. I always call this first.
Oh, the Celestial Beam?
Yeah, Celestial Beam. There it is. Thanks, Doug. Celestial Beam taking half of the HP of a Mealsy. That's
it hurts.
Give the red buff to Ra. You think you can hear me?
I think you gotta shout it louder.
Just kidding, guys. Those of you that have come to HRX know how loud I can get. It's pretty loud. Cheerio in a good spot if he ults, but he's going to get ulted on. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. If Cheerio drops the Fear No Evil there, I think they drop NRG members.
Oh, even worse still, though. Adapting, if he just looks down, he'll see that beautiful, luscious speed buff getting ready to spawn, and he won't be sticking around for it, however, and I think that Cheerio's probably counting his lucky stars on that one.
Yeah, Hebo kills camps really quickly, and Cheerio able to get his own buff. It's a nice one. Easy peasy there. Adapting. Watch, it's water spout, water hands, and one basic. There it is. He's able to clean
I counted 3 basics.
Well, not the cancel. I mean, the first one is what you pull.
I'm just messing with you.
The first one is what you pull. That's how you pull. Listen, I tried to for a Tolly moment, okay? I tried to be really about the ins and outs.
You're missing like 20 numbers in all that.
Well, you know what?
20 iterations of those numbers, by the way.
Right side, the monkey getting water spouted. Maniac not going to go for it. I like that call. I think that's easy to sort of chase that kill anyway, just because you've used the ultimate. But playing it safe this time around, adapting, looking for the invade, and that one will be relatively simple.
But see, here's something that I don't think Mouse Sports were doing nearly enough of in the last game. They weren't abusing Habwa's early game pressure to the extent that NRG are. And Adapting has nonstop been working his way into Cheerio's jungle. And sure, Cheerio has done a pretty alright job at keeping up, but he'd probably even be ahead of Adapting right now if he didn't lose so much of his jungle to this Habwa in the first place.
That's why I criticized the Warlock staff build so hard, and at the end of the day, like I said, listen, if he's going to be playing like he did on it, I guess I can only criticize so far. But right now, a Mealsy, the focal point, Big Man Tings hitting him with that Celestial Beam. The big thing is, with Bancroft and Pen Boots, Habwa will one-shot those XP camps, which are such an important part of the map right now, and being able to take advantage of that is very, very, very easy to do as the Hebo. So this is a situation where, yes, he did well, but could he have done better? I don't know. It's Schrodinger's Hebo, but...
It's the typical just because it works doesn't mean it's the best option sort of direction. Speaking of which, Yaman going to end up being the first blood to that dot damage out of Dardes. A lot of burst, and that's exactly what Mouse have been lying in wait for this whole time. Dardes gets the knockup, Big Man Tings connects with the Searing Pain, and Spudio, he's just there for good measure in case everything else doesn't work out.
Exactly, just damage from all sides. You got the Wisps from the air, you got Spudio from the air, Big Man Tings on the ground. Just a ton of damage coming out from Mouse Sports, who again find a first blood. Nice job so far from Mouse, who, after losing their carry just very recently, we've said it a number of times, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say it a number of more times. Dardes has played with Jermaine almost exclusively in this long lane for 4 years, folks. And Spudio, the minor league call-up, comes through and makes it look like this team has been playing with him for weeks, months, splits. Very impressed with the ability of the minor league player to come up and step up. Not just to play his game, Taco, but to fit into the system.
I think that's the bigger picture here, is that he's just meshing so well already with this roster, and that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, if it were, I don't think we ever see that spring split performance out of Obey. It's crazy when you realize just how intricate some of these personalities can be whenever they start having to blend together.
Ooh, Emilzy grabbed one more time.
And that's going to be Emilzy forced into the transformation, but Cherio with a perfectly timed Fear No Evil, but he's going to get destroyed by Yaman.
Yaman with the snipes. Slow down on Dardes. He will get hit by the unstable. Emil adapting, and the Yaman on the backside. Maniac on the front side. Emilito with the kill onto Dardes. Yaman with the follow-up onto the young carry. 2 kills for Mouse, 3 for NRG. And all 3 happened in that team fight. Not done just yet. Adapting's ultimate forced out. Nika knocked up by the Hunter. Great job from Emil. I think if Nika is able to pounce on Adapting there, they might find a Hebo. But a nice knock-up coming up from the Jing Wei prevents that thanks to the persistent gust.
I almost can't believe I'm saying this, but that could have been a lot worse for Mouse than what it actually ended up being.
That's
NRG,
true.
sure, they get 3 picks, but they don't get any of the buffs afterwards. They don't get the Gold Fury. They're not taking your T1 in mid. So this is still prime opportunity for Mouse to continue farming and just wait for the next moment.
That was the best way to get team wiped for Mouse. Both of the buffs were down. Gold Fury, like you said, they didn't even get the tier 1 tower in the dual lane. I mean, that's best case scenario. Mouse all dies and they start to yell and scream at each other and they go, wait a second. They didn't get anything else. This is totally fine. This is not a problem. We're all right.
Speaking of which, Big Man Tink's going to do Dardes a real solid there and secure those left mid heartbeats before Emilzy has a chance to steal them away. Oracles, however, will fall in favor of NRG. That free ward vision on top of the ward that NRG have currently in place, it just means that Mouse won't necessarily have an opportunity to go for the Gold Fury immediately. Sometimes you can catch your opposition off guard by just rushing to that objective after a fight is already broken out.
And we've seen Mouse, not to, in game number 1, here in game number 2, they've done it already, if I'm not mistaken. They tested a lot. Just walk up to the Gold Fury, start hitting it. If nobody comes, we'll just take it, right? Like a lot of times you can just sort of okie doke it, but not going to be the case here for Mouse. Very important. I get very, very, around 13 to 17 minutes, I think the Oracles are of the utmost importance, because that's when you're still fighting on the left side, but you're able to really take other things out. All for all on the right side, easy peasy.
Maniac gonna trade out ultimates with Nika there, except Maniac does have a little bit of a heal, but of course, thanks to Cerberus being Cerberus, he gets a part of that heal too.
Yep, so the already small Guan heal, getting even smaller. Emil going with the Poison Star. This is an interesting look, and we've seen Emil do this with Wind Demon before on Jing Wei. I think we'll see him go back to the pen and then continue the critical strike. But the idea is that since Jing Wei has the built-in crit, that you can get the debuff that applies after you crit with the Poison Star here. So looking to lower the damage output from the rest of Mouse. A
20% reduction, so that's pretty large, as well as the slow having the same kind of effect. It's always something for NRG to just have even more chase down potential with. Emilzy not going to connect with that Fafnir stun, but Dardes is getting knocked right up into the center of 3 members from NRG.
Maniac activates the ultimate. Horse stun is good. Emilzy eats up Dardes. NRG punishing Mouse for looking at the Gold Fury thanks to the vision that they had earlier. Maniac surrounded by enemy jerseys, but he's totally fine here until the Fear No Evil comes out. Cherio and the dog jump on top. Spudio with the last hit on top of Maniac. NRG get 1. Mouse get another. Yaman gets a red buff. But either way, I don't think anybody can really look at this Gold Fury. I think this is a scary one. Emilzy and Yaman are low, but they've got range.
Emilito already managed to back to base and make it here in time. Shout out to the Jing Wei passive for making sure that Mouse, one more time, won't be able to profit off of a winning team fight.
Game number 1, passive Emilito. Passive Emilito. Game number 2, very active. I mean, sure, he's got a kill and an assist, but I'm not even talking about that. I mean, the knockups have been so important. He's saved his teammates. He's enabled his team. He's stopped Mouse from getting the Gold Fury right there with the knockup. I mean, NRG's Hunter doing a really good job today.
Knocking up Darda's there too, because if you toss a Sylvanas out of position, even for a brief second, that is all it takes to take down the tree. And Emilito, one more time, won't be able to find the persistent gust. This time around, though, onto Spudio. He's by himself here on this contest. But the leash of the Searing Pain, it's going to be NRG stealing it.
That just hurts. Mouse have to leash that. Dardas has to leash that because of the Giannis ultimate incoming. Big Man Tings also has to ult. Like, that's just... That one hurts. That one absolutely hurts. And I, as an observer, as a unbiased watcher from the outside, I have to say that one really stings.
Emilito trying to take up that 1v1 trade with Cherio, but nothing's really going to come of it because he completely understands that it's just not his moment. Airstrikes away into the safety of his T1 tower as Cherio splits a wave with Spudio, and now Emil flying straight towards the Pyromancer. Very likely the NRG choose to pull this objective because when they get one, you give them an inch, they'll take the full mile.
Exactly. They've got one extra kill above Mouse, but they've got 3,000 gold above them as well. Even more to come if they have their way. Niga able to jump out of the way, but the Pyromancer goes their way. So NRG feeling good.
But another small downside, actually hold that thought, because it's going to be Yaman just getting out of range with the Searing Pain, but
that was...
the Aegis and the Purification Bead still pulled for free pretty much, and now Spudio, he's in a whole lot of trouble here. Emilito choosing to go in, but there's no chance of survival.
This has just been a series of unfortunate events, and Spudio's name, I mean, just... Big Man Tings just barely out of range from the ultimate because Cherio's Spirit of Evil sends the player in the opposite direction.
Yes. Well, he Aegis anyway.
Yeah, sure. Oh, man. It's just like, you see these happenings and you have to feel for Mouse to a certain extent. NRG, though, playing the enemy composition better than they could have, and I really love this build from adapting here. I think Rod of Asclepius, Hebo doesn't heal, but his teammate does. But even if he didn't, the stats on it just so strong. Darda is knocked up. Damage from the Guan Yu, too much to handle. And this is where we see NRG really take off here. I think 4,000 gold is just the start of what's going to be a tremendous lead. The team not even looking at the Fire Giant, just going for the tower.
Once NRG starts staggering your team's death timers, that's when you know you're in trouble. And so far, Mouse Sports has not had a single moment in the past 3 minutes where every single member has been alive. They've all just been getting taken out one by one. Speaking of which, though, Spudio finally returning the favor against Yaman.
Nice play coming out from the support play, or from the solo lane, Nika, lining Spudio up, and Emil showing why he picks the Jingwei. Not going to be stingy and tormented. You get lifted up and you're able to zoom right on out of it, nice and easy.
Same for the Sylvanas too. It's just, as long as Emilito has that agility, he should be safe and sound away from all of those pesky knockups. Of course, can't say the same for Spudio, because if you cut off that rollout, he is dead.
Yeah, you ever interrupt a ROM roll? They just disconnect from the game. They're just like, okay.
I feel like leaving too sometimes when my rollout gets canceled.
It's so rough.
It's so unfortunate. It's like seeing a rising Jaguar get cut short.
Ooh, that also hurts. Oh man. Longtime Smite fans are all wincing. That one really stings. I don't know. I don't know what's worse, the ROM or the rising Jaguar, because you're sitting there, you're like, what extra 1.1 second I would have been CC immune. You had to get me right there, Thanatos. Really?
It's always the Thanatos, isn't it?
It's always the Thanatos with the giant silence. Oh my goodness.
When it feels like their ult just stays in the air for eternity. And you're like, I thought you would have landed by now.
Yeah, you're sitting there like, when I ult, it's half of the amount of time that when you ult, right?
Of course. It's only if you're playing the God, you're definitely going to mess it up.
Yeah.
But if the god is against you,
Never.
they might as well be adapting.
Yeah, might as well just be actually Thanatos the god playing the character, just at his house. Where does he live? He's like from the underworld, right? Or is he an angel?
You're saying that Thanatos is sharing
Greece?
like an apartment with Hades?
Yeah, that's what's happening. They're flatmates. It's Thanatos, Hades, and Hazer, all just living it up.
How did Hazer come into this?
I hate that guy.
What? Poor Hazer, man. The BM.
Oh, man. 22:30 on the clock here. We're having some fun, and so is NRG. Only 3,000 gold up. You know, it's interesting. Our tone of the gameplay, taking a lull a little bit, might deceive how short this lead is. But this is one of those gold leads that I think is deceptive because of the composition that NRG had. It's only 3,000 gold, like I've said. But if you get caught, you are dead because of the combination of the knockups that are available, the damage that's available, and even the eject that's available. Either you die from getting knocked up by the jungle hunter combination, or if NRG do screw up, they just got us ult out. There's really nothing you can do here.
Speaking of which, Cherio solo ults Emilito with the Fear No Evil, and Emil, I don't even think he had to use his actives. No, not a one. Zero concerns about this Humbots posing an actual threat towards him, and that's going to cost Mouse Sports pretty heavily here. There's not a chance NRG don't look for an objective immediately, knowing that Cherio doesn't have that Fear No Evil any longer.
Yeah, NRG going to look directly towards the Big Harpy. Gold Fury down to about 90 already. Spudio watching. Dardes and Big Man Tings on the way. Monkey and Cerberus nowhere near us. Half HP is the objective, and that'll make everybody turn to Dardes. Adapting, searching forward, but careful.
Oh.
Emilzy, not so careful. Lining up Giannis. Ultimate's good. Emilzy's better. Big Man Tings shoots down the hallway, and nobody's walking through it. Beats by Spudio to knock out one CC. Can't find the second, and Yaman lines himself up and gets the kill from the middle lane.
Emilito still wants to go in. Maniac, he was meant to take that portal, but instead it's Emil telling the team, no, we can fight. We could still take them on. And sure enough, just like that, all of NRG comes charging towards Mouse Sports, who are starting to retreat into their mid T2 tower. And Emil looking like a madman right now.
I mean, that's exactly what I just said, is that the lead is short, but the composition that NRG have brought is that you just can't get caught out.
A good way to look at it is, I was actually waiting to see if something was going to happen with Cherio there, but he doesn't commit any further against Yaman, and Tings didn't drop a Searing Pain either, surprisingly.
Nope.
Maybe expecting beads to be used and not wanting to waste it. However, getting back to my original statement, what I wanted to say is it's one of those things where the lead is only 3,000 gold, right? But it's only because NRG aren't pushing for more.
Exactly.
I think NRG were kind of just sitting still, trying to see how Mouse would react to a small lead. And then all they had to do, because a lot of these plays that NRG have made happen have come off the back of Mouse Sports' failed moments of aggression.
Exactly. I mean, that's the entire story of game number one. Cherio was 5 steps forward instead of 3, and NRG just win the game, right? So they waited for Mouse to make the mistake there in game number 1. Game number 2, NRG have found themselves a lead, but still are kind of waiting for Mouse to fall on their own 2 feet. With that said, NRG almost a 10,000 gold lead, 8,000 to be a little bit more precise. 7K, I'm sorry. And Mouse are at the point where it's going to be tough to step up.
They'll take another tower soon, and then you got the quick maths all day long. You don't have to worry about that. But NRG now getting into position here, I think, for another Fire Giant dance. They could realistically probably have taken this Fire Giant 10 times over by now, but they're still just always constantly pushing for more. They want to ensure that Mouse Sports don't have any safe pathways to disengage off of a Fire Giant from.
It's also that second conversation that we're kind of avoiding, is the fact that, I mean, Mouse is a good squad, right? If you give them the moment, Big Man Tings and Spudio will play it. We've seen it. NRG get the tier 1, and, well, Big Man Ting's not going to get it there. Beautiful knockup from Dardes. Will it line up the rest for the death? Adapting with the play you were asking for before. Everyone in NRG low. Where's Spunio? Shoot the shot, kid! Oh, just barely off the mark.
Oh, but it might not matter because you got Nika coming in anyway. Ghastly Breath gonna make sure that Emilzy ends up falling, and now this could be Mouse's time to shine. They're able to push back out the mid lane. Everyone from NRG needs to fall back. They need to heal. Better yet,
they're going fire! I'm not in a theater, so I can yell it. Fire! That's the call! Mouse, go for it right now. They're down 5 kills. Mouse are down 7,000 gold. They've got to burn this. Adapting already here. Local, no ultimate available, but does have the knockup. Guan Yu comes in looking for the disruption, and that's successful. Cherio gets Yaman. NRG still fighting into this. A great job by NRG to keep Mouse off of the objective. I liked the call there, Taco, but they had to be wary.
No! Mouse Sports choosing to back off even after finding the pick onto Yaman. They're just not quite healthy enough. There it is.
Yeah, they're afraid of Hebo. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of Hebo, and they should be. A knockup while you're fighting Fire Giant means you get hit by the Fire Giant knockup. It's just rough. Oh, they got Maniac caught in the Fire Giant knockup.
Oh, the double knockup.
Oh, the bouncing fish. Spunio takes care of Maniac. Nice job there. Nika keeping Emilzy out of range. Fire Giant low. Where's Big Man Ting's?
No!
Too soon, Executus! NRG take the Fire Giant away! Cherio on top of Emilito. But does it matter is the question Mouse are asking. 4 players are dead, 3 since we just see Yaman respawn. NRG get the Fire Giant. Mouse Sports' middle laner a little bit too soon, but NRG are all dead. What can Mouse get off of this?
I think it does matter because it's not so much that NRG only have adapting with that Fire Giant to utilize, as much as it is Mouse don't have the Fire Giant to siege with, and these team fights have not been one-sided. Sure, Mouse might have come out on top in the last one, but that was just the most recent one. Everybody from NRG's due to respawn here pretty soon. They've got to keep committing to this Phoenix. They have to get something for losing Cherio.
Cherio just gets caught up on the backside. There's the ping. Cherio letting his team know that Adapting is behind them because that's where he died. We're on the run. There's the blink forward. Adapting finds a knockup onto Nika. I don't think he expected Mouse to be that close. He could have just, but instead he,
Well, Nika still not out of the woods just yet. Adapting finds the Cerberus despite a great attempt at an escape, and now it's Dardes who's got some concerns here for Big Man Ting's gonna actually pull Adapting into the tower and a nice turn and burn. Big Man Ting's coming up hot.
Dardes and Big Man Tings are the heart and soul of Mouse Sports. This team has gone through a transformation. It originally started, this is the squad, this is the Elevate squad, right? The heart and soul of this team used to be the Bruise Brothers and Cherio. And they had a rotating mid laner, and frankly, they never had a solo laner, right? And then a couple of shifts. Nulissa in and out, Death Panner in and out. Big Man Tings moves over here into the mid lane. They get a minor league call-up. Big Man Tings and Dardes have been the guys on this Mouse team for me all of Season 5. Jermaine, perhaps the writing was on the wall. Now he's no longer here. Cherio doing his job, but I much prefer Cherio as the reluctant star than the go-to #1 option. And Taco, listen, I'm not saying Mouse are #1 anytime soon, but what a pleasure to watch a team improve and get here.
And during the online phases, I don't want to see Cherio having to be your all-star because this man has to play off of Egyptian ping.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time.
It is intense. The difference between 40 ping to 200 is pretty insane. And if you don't believe me, get accustomed to 40 ping and then try the 200 route. It's not a fun time. And that's just one of the downsides of Cherio in his current location. Can't really control too much of that. He's just got to do his own things, and he does have his own life to sort out and take care of.
If anything, it makes it more impressive. You know what I mean? I mean, he's able to... Cherio's able... Sure, I mean, I realize Adapting just killed him. He's going toe-to-toe with the best player in the world. You know what I mean?
Somewhere out there, Baskin is just going to haunt all of you. He will hunt you, and he will find you.
No, I think
aggro.
I think if I say Ataraxia is a passive player, I think he comes first.
You got to say it the other 2 times. You've only done it once so far. I think you're in the clear.
That's very, very true.
And there's no mirror.
Yeah. Jeez, can you imagine Nate showing up in your bedroom late at night from the mirror? That's a dream for a couple
I
of
feel
people,
like
actually.
somebody would be very upset if that were the case.
I think somebody would be very excited if that was the case as well, though, to be fair. I think there's a number of different people out there. Right now, a tie game between Mouse and NRG at 32 minutes. Never thought I'd be saying that. I'm very happy.
What if it just teleported him unwillingly?
Then he'd be mad. Like mid-ranked game, he's just like,
Yeah,
really?
he's just in the middle of like making dinner or something, and then someone says like, Ataraxia is a passive hunter.
And he just shows up and he's like, Peckies, why am I here?
It would be Peckies.
Portal Demon by Mouse. Fire Giant could be another target in about 44 seconds, but that will be when the... I gotta see, Yaman, back to base already. The right side Phoenix is going to be up about the same time as the Fire Giant. So NRG can choose to send a representative to defend the Fire Giant. It looks like that might be Maniac. Emelin adapting in the squad, pushing up the lane, so NRG might be waiting full force at this Fire Giant. This will not be a free one. We're gonna return to the action. Mouse Sports do the good job. They took 2, 4, 5 towers and a Phoenix. That is exactly what they needed to do after the Fire Giant. But now comes phase 2. Can they fight into NRG a second time is the question, Taco. NRG spreading themselves out, want to make sure that nobody gets the flank on this Fire guy. Big man Tiggs has to do a better job of securing this Fire Giant. Last time, a little bit too soon, and NRG snatched it away.
NRG also trying to make sure that their Phoenix stays intact. It has just freshly respawned, and fortunately enough for them, the one Phoenix that Mouse did manage to secure was the one closest to this Fire Giant. So NRG have the leisure of being able to push out the creep wave in their favor, while also making sure that Mouse aren't taking the objective.
Emilzy isolated by Cherio and Dardez. Big damage coming out from the mid lane Giannis, but not going to be enough. Emilzy transforms. Waiting is the ultimate from the Stygian Torment. Emilzy cut down, but that's all of the focus on the tank. NRG on the run. Big shots from Spudio. 1 hits and 2 miss. Maniac going back to base. So will Emilzy. This is the window that Mouse Sports needs. Do they have the damage to take down the Fire Giant? Yes. Do they have the damage to take down the Fire Giant with adapting, poking them in the side? That's a different story.
Well, Maniac is TP'd back into the fray. Mouse have pulled the Fire Giant, currently sitting at 70% health. They've got to make a decision one way or the other. Cherio teleports just a little bit too soon, though, and Yaman safely walks through the portal because of it.
Oh, adapting with the blink damage, but the monkey will survive. Ultimate not available for him. Ultimate on Maniac, a different story. Nika gonna be cut down by the Hunter. Cherio cut down by the Solo. 2 players down for Mouse, sitting out for over a minute.
And now the entirety of NRG is just collapsing one by one. They're falling, adapting, finds Spudio, who broke off from the rest of the pack.
Interesting. Taco, why don't NRG just go for the win there?
They can't end off of that. I think that between Dardas and Big Men, they're able to defend not one Phoenix, but definitely a secondary Phoenix. By then, Nika, Cherio, Spudio. It's the delay that a Raw can provide because the Celestial Beam is just going to clear out the waves effectively enough to where NRG won't clear these structures as fast.
We saw how slow it took. We saw how long it took Mouse Sports to kill that right side Phoenix with no minions. Same would have been said for NRG because they didn't have the Fire Giant. Now they do, and so the Phoenix will melt like butter. 15-10, and NRG in game number 1 were losing the game for the entirety of it until Mouse made one mistake, and then they stepped over them and took the Titan. NRG now actually got answered back by Mouse, but then Mouse make another mistake, and NRG stepping on the throats of the opposition. Cherio with a great ultimate, but Mouse again find themselves focusing the tanks. Yaman takes care of Nika. 2 players dead on Mouse. NRG have taken care of the right. They've taken care of the mid, and the left side Phoenix is next.
Cherio gets a great Fear No Evil onto 3 different targets, but it's all Aegis out. There's no damage to be had against the carries. Nika comes in for the follow-up. It was perfect. The Stygian Torment, again, grabbing 3 different members, but there's nothing for it. And Nika portaled immediately, bursted down.
Yep.
NRG, this is their experience bleeding through.
And on the Titan adapting rolls through, and the Titan rolls out. NRG take game number 2. A fantastic job from basically everybody on the battlefield. I really don't have a